Germany, and this is my 2003 Chrysler Crossfire that I've had for the last 8 years and 104,000 miles. And I want to tell you my story of how I ended up spending $10,000 during that time and just keeping the car running in a nice technical shape. 5 years ago, I uploaded, I think 2 videos to YouTube, and over the time they got like over 100,000 views, and they were really bad. So I kind of feel that I had to get back to this topic, because there's people that actually want to see Crossfire content. And I think it's a very cool, little, affordable 2-seater. People tend to say it's a sports car. I mean, 200 horsepower nowadays. I mean, people don't consider it a sports car anymore. I'm going to give you a rundown of what it took for me to keep this car running and in a good condition during those 8 years. And I want people that maybe don't know this car or probably even consider buying this car. I want to give them information so that they consider it even more to buy it, because it's actually a very nice car. It has the Mercedes technique under the bonnet and everything. I really like this car, and that's the reason why I kept it for 8 years, of course. And I actually would like to see, in the next couple of years, I would like to see more of those cars being in a very good condition, because now my car is 17 years old. Those cars are starting to disappear just because of, their natural, just because it's natural that these cars break down, and sometimes it's not worth keeping up with it anymore. So when I bought this car 8 years ago, it had 69,000 miles on the clock. And in the first year, I only drove like 6,000 miles with it, because, mostly just Berlin city driving. And, I did oil change, I did the spark plugs. There are 12 of them. It's like a 2-hour job for somebody that's not really, a mechanic. We did the air filters, we did a control arm. There's a control arm that goes like all the way from left to right underneath. We did front brake pads, and I did drilled rotors, which I really liked. They didn't hold up so well in the end, but all this, like the first service was like $550. I'm gonna, even though I paid euros, I'm gonna tell it to you in dollars because it's more universal. YouTube is so international, and I'm not gonna talk about insurance, taxes, whatever. It's all, everywhere it's gonna be different. So I'm not gonna say anything about that. But my first service for the car was $550. I needed 4 new summer tires. You got the 18-inch in the front, 19-inch in the back. $700 out the door. And then 4 months later, I had, you know how you have that rubber boot that goes over your axle? That ripped, and then we had to get a new one. The cabin air filter, rear brake pads and the rotors drilled as well, brake fluid, and I had to adjust the passenger door. Something was wrong with that. So all that was another $300. And then towards the end of my first year of owning it, I spent another $270 on a new filter for the gas filter, new transmission oil and filter, new steering damper, and I had to restore my headlights. They're getting foggy. You have to do that once in a while. I think I did that like 4 or 5 times in 8 years. So that was the first year. $1,800 in the first year. The second year was really good on me because, I did all that. Only 5,000 miles in that year, close to $400 that year. I only did an oil change. I did a bushing on the rear left that was worn out. Then I had a transmission leak at the, you have that transmission plug, and that one leaked. Every Crossfire owner has that, but I did that too. And I had to seal the headlights as well. They were kind of, you know, there was water in there. So all that came out to about $400. So then we go to year 3 where I did 10,000 miles. And we started out with a new windshield. And I mean, that was insurance, but you know, it's a pretty low car. So you're gonna get some rock chips in there. I paid $160 for the deductible for the insurance. I needed a new battery, new alternator, and that was expensive. I got rid of the rust in the rear wheel well arches. It's coming back though. I've seen that before. And I got winter tires, and I topped off the steering fluid, which I mean that's not a big thing, but all in all that was $1,200. And then I did another oil change. All right, let's go on to year number 4, where I actually, because of college, I had to drive a longer distance, and I did 26,000 miles in that year, which I think is a lot for a little 2-seater car, but I loved it. And I started out with, you know, some suspension work. I switched a couple, you know, joints and links and everything because there was play in it. You know, in the drivetrain, you have those little like rubber circles. It has like little rips in there, so I exchanged that too. Exactly, and we had more bushings on the rear axle because there was squeaking noises. There was, you know, play. Around 100,000 miles, you have all that coming for you, and that was $500 around that. But you know, around 100,000 miles, you're gonna have all that work waiting for you. Again, then we had an oil change. Always do that. New braking fluid. I sanitized the air conditioning because it was smelling weird. Still does sometimes. There was 140 all in all. Then I did spark plugs again, and it only took me 30,000 miles until I did spark plugs again. And I did one ignition coil, and then I had the fault for the secondary air pump, and I did a huge mistake of exchanging the secondary air pump. And actually it was just the RCM module that needs resoldering. So if you want to have a Crossfire resolder your RCM, super cheap, please do that, and don't do that as the first thing you do. All right, so, and then I needed 2 gas injectors, and I did the sticky key fix. So all that, plugs, coils, secondary air pump, injectors, sticky key fix, that I did myself, that was $900 again. Did another suspension joint. Then I resoldered the RCM because I found out that was the problem. What else? Oh, and I did that big control arm that I did in the beginning. I did that again in year 4, so it only lasted 4 years. So there's some, you know, work in the whole, you know, drivetrain, whatever. Oh, it's not called drivetrain, but it's, oh, somebody's calling me. All right, then year 4, another oil change, and then towards the end of year 4, we did a whole brake job, front and rear, because I had those drilled rotors, and they were having grooves everywhere, so I didn't like that at all. So we exchanged them, and then after that I got ATE brakes with the ceramic pads, and I've loved them. The pads held up for more than 60,000 miles until I replaced them, and I think that's a very, very good, well, that's a very good benchmark, because I drive a lot of city and Autobahn, of course. I think that's very good. All right, then, oh, wheel bearings, and I need some front summer tires. So, whole year 4 was about $2,600. Year 5 was better. Only a little under $1,000. Did a crank position sensor. Everybody does that. It's $30. Get the Bosch. Nothing else. All the other things are just gonna break sooner or later. Get the Bosch. Another gasoline injector, a CO2 sensor, and my wiper motor just went out. But these four things were like $400. That was all right. Another oil change. Oh, one of the weirdest things happened in January of 2017. A gasoline line, like right on top of the motor, just blew, and gas was spilling everywhere. So I was sitting in my car, and it was smelling like gas real bad. And I pulled over, and I saw that my car like left this huge trail of gas. And I was very lucky that my car didn't catch on fire that day. But it didn't. So replaced that little. It was right on top of the engine. I can show you later, probably. So we did that. We did some rubber stuff on the front axle because it was making noise again. We had new brake lines because they were corroding. New brake fluid, $380. And then again, 30,000 miles later, new spark plugs. I actually like the NGK the most. You can do Mercedes, you can do Bosch, but I like the NGK the most. Year 6, where I did 18,000 miles. $850. Very good year, actually. New summer tires in the rear. I got used ones because, I'm trying to cheap out because this car is so old, but I got ones that are only a year old. So I got new rear summer tires, cabin air filter, $250. Then just like 2 months later, I got a nail in one of the tires, so another $150 for a new tire. Then the alarm module broke, and that was like a Sunday night, 8 o'clock. Everyone's at home, and I'm at my girlfriend's house, and there's so many people living around, and the car just, the siren of the alarm just goes on for no reason. And I go down there, I just shut it, and nothing works. It's still, the siren is going on. It was embarrassing as hell. So I just took it around the block trying to just shut it up, and it didn't. So I looked like a guy stealing my own car. That was really fun. But another $110 later, I got a new alarm module, which seriously every Crossfire owner needs a new alarm module because there's a battery in there, and because it's old, it just loses the battery acid and just floods over the whole thing, and it will go berserk on you. We got another oil change for $80. New wipers, new headlight bulbs. I mean, you all get that. And then I bought a camshaft positioning sensor for $36. And you maybe remember that I told you, get the Bosch, don't get anything else. I got something else. And I'm going to tell you what happened. All right, but that was year 6. $850. Year 7 started with another oil change, $90. Then I actually got into an accident. Somebody rear-ended me, and I'm not gonna tell you about how much that cost. You don't care about that, but I had a bunch of rust in the back of the car that needed to be adjusted, looked after. So I can tell you the back, the wing, or the trunk lid, the rear arches, all of that was subject to rust on my car. Could be on yours too. That was almost $900 to get that fixed. Again, I had something in my tire, so I had to get a new winter tire. I drive 18 inches winter tires all around. I got the SRTs. I think they're very, very pretty rims, but they have like this shine to them, and if you drive in salty conditions, that chrome is gonna be bad. Mine look very bad, and I still drive them, but it's not a good look. So if you have SRT rims, please use them in the summer, not in the winter. Another oil change, and that was it for year 7. Year 7, $1,100. And in year 8, I finally started, you know, normally I just drive my car, but I started giving it to friends and my girlfriend, and the seat adjustment didn't work all the time, so I got a new relay for the seat adjustment, which was 30-40 bucks. It's right underneath here. It was worth it though. And I had to weld the exhaust because it was making some noise. So all in all, that was 80 bucks. And then I got a new camshaft positioning sensor. This time I bought the Bosch. That was 70 bucks, so double of what I initially paid for the cheap one. But the cheap one only held up for 17,000 miles and 1.5 years. So, you know, get the Bosch, whatever. it's that easy. All right, then again, I got new headlight bulbs. I polished the headlights again. I resoldered the RCM again because the first time I did it with my dad, and the second time I did it with an expert, and he did it very good. And then in the front, because I lowered my car. The lowering of the car, I didn't put that into the video because that's something that you won't need essentially, but lowering it will make it rub with your normal wheels. I think even on the normal suspension it will rub, but due to the rubbing, there can be rust. So I worked on that, and I hammered those in, and then I put some stuff on there. All in all, I spent, you know, that fall 240 bucks for that. Another oil change. I did new spark plugs, 180. I can always recommend you doing spark plugs by yourself with this car. Because either way, I mean, it's going to be expensive if you're going to get it to somebody else. 12 spark plugs, you can buy them easily online. Do it yourself. It takes 2 hours. And then the last thing I did, which was actually a week ago, I did all my brake pads and the rotors in the back. And I've started only to use ATE because I love them. I think they're a German company. All right, so I just totally messed up my spreadsheet here. And I got a new cabin air filter. I did the serpentine belt for the very first time in this car. It was in there for 17 years, and it wasn't actually looking too bad. But, you know, I did that. Because, you know, you got to do it. It's rubber, so it's going to fail one time in your life. Just like 20 minutes ago, I did my mass airflow sensor. And then I got new tires for the front as well. So that was another 388 bucks this month. And, well, I mean, I've talked so much about the things that I've put into this car. I'm going to round it up now. So in 8 years, what you want to know is I spent $10,126 on keeping this car in a nice condition. 104,000 miles, as I said. So that leaves you with a monthly, you know, if you want to do it monthly, payment of $103 to keep the car running. And I think $1,000 sounds a lot, or 10,000 bucks sounds a lot, but $100 a month, I think that sounds pretty fair. But that's what you have to, you know, if you're looking into buying a Crossfire, that's what you gotta, you know, add, or that's what you gotta think about. Have at least $100 every month for this car, you know, and then add your taxes, your insurance. All right. So I hope you found this video informative. And it helps you in keeping your Crossfire going, or in you know, in your choice to buy a Crossfire. I really like these cars. In the past, like 2 years ago, I've bought an Audi S4 because it has 4 seats with a V8. I really like that car, but I have to say that Audi has more problems than this car, and you know, the Crossfire is awesome. And if it wouldn't be that way, I wouldn't be still driving this, or I would still, like, I would already sold this, but I really love it. I think it's unique. You know, in Germany, close to no one drives this car, and you can always get easy and cheap parts because you can always get the Mercedes stuff. And all right, thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, just put them in the comments. I'm gonna answer them. If you have any, you know, if you encounter anything that I had, just ask. The Crossfire community is awesome. We got a great forum. We got a great Facebook page. All the Crossfire owners are really positive people. They help you. We got a bunch of, you know, do-it-yourself videos online. I think it's an awesome car community, and I actually want to keep this car for a long, long, long time. And have a good day. Bye bye.